Ladies and gentlemen, it is Great League Remix, and this is our first video covering the league. So we decided to use a Pokemon that used to be very good and was very toxic, and it's going to be Bastiodon. So why are we using Bastiodon? It just has a ton of bulk and can just, it's basically that. Has pretty good, I guess really good typing. The thing you have to watch out for is you literally can't do anything to the Mud Boys, so like Whiscash, and you definitely get just blasted by fighters. So the fighters you want to watch out for in this cup, definitely Pangoro, Pancham's the uninvolved form, and then Machamp. They're definitely everywhere. I was running a different team that was double week to, or ABA week to fighting, and I did run into actually like 3 Machamps, so then I decided to switch off that team. And when I switched to this team with a little bit more fighting coverage with Tropius, I did notice that I won 10 games right off the bat, and then I took a screenshot. Then I won 2 more, and I was like, okay, well, this team's amazing. Didn't have that many sets to play once I did get to this team. I think I just got to 3 sets, which I won 13 out of 15 games, so that's obviously really good clip there. But yeah, I did try out a bunch of teams before this, and I did run into some failures, so those teams probably will never see the light of day for videos. Stay away from those teams, I guess. Yeah. But this team was real, and I actually thought about not even showing it here on the first video because I was like, man, I could really climb a lot with this team. But you know what? I might as well get the best team that I found so far out to you right away. So that's what this team is. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the games. But first, we probably should go over what the team actually is. Yeah, Tropius in the front. Again, I decided Air Slash was the way to go. Definitely running into a lot of fighters. And you really don't need the fast attack of Razor Leaf. Plus, Razor Leaf did get nerfed this season. Because you do want to have chances against something like this Whimsicott, or especially something like Abomasnow, which you're going to be pretty bad against. And then also there are a lot of, I think just, not a lot of, but there are definitely Ariados running around. Beedrill we ran into as well. Air Slash is going to give you a little bit more play against those if you are already losing out on your steel, if you don't have your steel types ready for those as well. Plus you don't, what I was going to say before is you don't really need Razor Leaf against like the waters. You can definitely just get up to Leaf Blade and be fine, because the waters are things like, well, it would be good against Wall Rain, but it's still fine. But something like Whiscash, you don't really have to worry too much about any of the charge attacks, and definitely not the fast attack either. So you're fine just playing a game where you can go Leaf Blade and then farm down. Alright, let's get into it. So Whimsicott lead, obviously this is really good for us here. They actually end up coming in with Salazzle, which I wasn't ready for, but I saw fire in the top left corner, top right corner rather, and I decided, you know, Bastiodon being a rock type, obviously really good against something like that. And yeah, even though you have double steel in the back, they're very different types of steel, where Bastiodon is very good against fire, Registeel is very bad against fire, so great here. I think Salazzle's other move is also, is it Outrage? It's some sort of big dragon move, so you're going to be resisting that as well. So they went to the double Poison Fang. They end up coming back in with, yeah, and I figured they ended up coming back in with Whiscash, and I figured they were actually going to be ABB Fire, so I did end up coming in with the Registeel here because, one, you already know Tropius is going to be fine against that Whimsicott, so if I need that Bastiodon for something in the back, definitely have that. Just don't get to the Focus Blast there, and now it's whether or not I want to call if he's going to come in with a Blast Burn. He ends up baiting. They technically can have a Blast Burn and a Thunder Punch stored up at the same time, so I do go for the shield here. You do want to throw on 3, technically. What I probably should have done there is maybe gone for get back up to a move there before going out of Bastiodon. But technically, I'm in a range where I definitely will survive a Blast Burn, so no need to rush it, I guess. And then I end up, I don't know why I threw this fast attack here, because I was like, the whole point was I was going to just let the clock run out, which is why I undercharged, and then I ended up not waiting the clock out, so bit hasty by me. Whiscash in the lead is obviously a fantastic matchup. You don't have to shield anything as Tropius here. The fact that they're throwing a move here means that they're definitely weak to this Tropius in the back, so that's something good to note for later. This almost one-shots, and since we aren't locked in anything, I'm not going to try to undercharge, but they end up switching into Stunfisk, so another kind of mud boy. And this is showing extremely weak to Tropius. I don't have to worry really about these discharges. They're neutral, and Stunfisk has never really done a lot of damage, so Unova Stunfisk, yeah, not really too worried about this. Maybe if it was Galarian Stunfisk, they would be resisting some of our moves, and they would be throwing super effective Rock Slide. But yeah, Unova Stunfisk, not too much to worry about. Catching you here in the middle of the video, definitely subscribe if you haven't. Just take a second, hit it. All right, back to the video. All right, Shadow Whiscash, a normal mon to see in this cup. I do think Shadow Whiscash is going to be used a lot. I'm pretty sure I saw like 2 today. And I was using it on a different team that didn't end up working out again. But I do think Shadow Whiscash is pretty good. So another thing I could say is maybe I will retry some of these teams that didn't make it or that weren't good here on the first day, because every like 150 ELO that you moved, maybe even 100, you're going to be running into a whole new player base. And so maybe I was just running into a bunch of the Machamps that were in my rating then. But with this team, I definitely rose up like, I want to say like 170 to 200 points. So this team obviously was amazing. We go to the one shield scenario with the Shadow Whiscash, and then they come back in with the Drifblim here. Shadow Sableye, sorry, in the Bastiodon matchup, so I'm perfectly fine going into that matchup. I do decide to shield at the last second here. I just figured, I don't know, if it's me, I'm going to go straight Shadow Ball, but if they went for like an Icy Wind there, it would have been horrific. I guess even something like a Mystic Fire would have actually been pretty bad as well. They're going to go for the Shadow Ball here, but now that they're 1 times reduced from the Zap Cannon, which has a 50% chance to reduce attack, we are able to make it to this second Zap Cannon, which obviously nice for us. We are 2 times reduced in attack as well. Oh, no, we're not. Yeah, and that's just GG because Whiscash can't do anything there. All right, Ariados, another weird one. They end up... So, I should have... this is obviously horrific. There's nothing more I can say about it. The only thing that's good is there are Runerigus that are not running Sand... what's the move? I actually don't remember the name of the move. Anyways, yeah, they're running basically Brutal Swing and Shadow Ball, so nothing to worry about on the defense lowering move. That is also double super effective against the Bastion here. I think I end up just... Oh, do I end up shielding? No. I do end up letting it go. Obviously, that was just so bad to have even brought in. And now I have to make a choice on whether or not I think a Shadow Ball is coming through. And I do end up thinking that it will be a Shadow Ball. And then I go for just a farm down here. They end up coming back in with the Ariados. I basically have double Aerial Ace here. And I do end up going for that because they do shield the first one. And then I'm going to switch into Registeel. They obviously think that... Well, they probably think I'm an idiot now that they see the Registeel because they're like, what in the world? Definitely... If you see Runerigus, you should just stay in. And not even if it's just that, there's also some... I saw 2 Golurks. Maybe I saw 3, I can't remember. But also a mon that you should definitely be having Tropius against. I don't know why I switched into Bastiodon. Just, yeah. Well, I get the full farm down here, which is nice. And now I have a lot of energy going into whatever this last matchup could be, or even back into the Ariados. They ended up switching into the Whiscash, and they just had switched as well, so technically I can go for a little bit of a farm. I actually end up trying to one-shot this thing, but I don't end up getting there, and now that my attack's debuffed, I can't one-shot it anyways, so I go for the full attack, and then I'm going to end up trying to farm this down, and then throwing a move into the Ariados. I keep saying I'm going to farm it down, but it also keeps looking like I'm just going to throw moves. I'm actually just hoping I can live the Scald. And this is hitting the Ariados. I saw that Poison Sting come in. And Registeel Yeah, not affected by any of these moves. I still have a shield left. I'm going to go for, I believe, a farm down here. Again, we're resisting everything that Ariados can do. I'm going to get the farm down and throw a Focus Blast into the Whiscash there. Nidoqueen. So this was one that I saw 2 or 3 times, and this is actually really tough for this team. I am not going to shield the first move, I believe. And then I believe... Well, I do come in with Registeel. Okay. So Registeel, the only thing you're really going to get affected by is the Earth Power here. The thing is, with Bastiodon, it's double super effective Earth Power, so I don't want to really get into a match with that. Whereas it's only single super effective against the Registeel here, and I actually end up doing a lot of damage to it. They end up coming back in with the thing is, okay, so they end up coming back in with the Lantern, and Tropius is fine against the Lantern, but the thing is, we're also very low on our Tropius, so I have to make a call on whether or not I think this is going to be a Surf or a Thunderbolt. I end up just calling it here, and it ends up being a Thunderbolt, so not great. I now have to make a decision on whether or not I think I can actually farm this all the way down. I'm going to let the first Surf hit me. Surf actually does a little bit more damage now this season, so it is a little bit scarier, but I'm going to shield the second Surf and then go for the full farm down here. Because I need that energy against the Nidoqueen, and then I'm hoping that a one-shield scenario in the back will leave Bastiodon in a good spot. I do have I'm at 100 energy here, so this is obviously going to KO the Nidoqueen, even though it is resisted. They do end up coming in with Skeledirge. I go for good timing here again. You want to throw on 3 because that's 9 turns for your 3-turn attack, whereas it's 10 turns for their 2 5-turn attacks. So now it's just whether or not do I think they're going to throw Shadow Ball or I think they're going to throw Disarming Voice. I just said they're going to throw Shadow Ball. They actually do end up throwing Shadow Ball. And then I just throw on 2 here because it's the same as 3. I'm either going to have the move or I'm not. And they don't have the energy for a second Shadow Ball. And I do think I would live a Disarming Voice by a decent amount there. Alright, another Ariados here. They do not switch out, so I'm in a weird position here. Thinking back on this, I probably should just be switching straight into the Registeel. I'm just trying to get a shield here. This will almost always get a shield from the Ariados. The Poison Sting is not going to do a ton even with the Trailblaze. So now we have a shield advantage, and I come in with this. I don't care about a... I guess this is going to be a Lunge because they're probably going to swap out of here. They end up coming in with a Swampert. I should just throw the Focus Blast, get my free damage off. Mudshot now doing a little bit more damage is interesting because they don't necessarily have to go for the Earthquake here. But are they going to get to farm me down if they go for Hydro Cannon? Maybe, no, they're not. So I think I still would have gone for the Earthquake, but this actually leads me to a different line of thinking where I think the Swampert actually has like Sledge Wave. And now I'm like kind of scared for this Tropius. I do end up going for the shield here. It'll be the only shield I give to the Swampert though. They end up coming in with the Ariados. I can get the full farm down here, but I am in a weird position where Swampert is... this is definitely a Lunge. Even though it is resisted. Now this could be... Now it should be a Lunge though, to be honest. Okay. Now I'm 2 times reduced. They come back in with the Swampert. I do have a move. We'll see if they end up shielding or not. If they do shield, I'll probably end up trying to go for a farm down, even though I'm 2 times reduced and I'm nerfed this season. Although technically, I believe I would still live a Hydro Cannon from here. I definitely won't live an Earthquake. And they keep going up to Earthquake, so I don't know. I end up trying to catch that Swampert out. But I have a ton of energy at this point on the Tropius. That's my alarm. Okay, and I can get to 2 air releases before they can even get to a Body Slam here on the Dragonair. And then I can end up farming down the Swampert because they're going to be throwing 3 times resisted mud shots. Alright, Regiverg, again, we should stay in this matchup. A question is whether or not you want to shield or not against the possibility of a Shadow Ball just doing a lot of damage. And you probably don't want to shield, to be honest, but sometimes I get locked in that train of thought. Galarian Weezing. So this is the first time we're seeing it here against this team. Obviously, I had seen it against my other teams as well. It is very good in this cup, probably the best I think it probably is the best mon in this cup. The shadow version is very nice. I don't personally have a shadow version of the Weezing with frustration off, unfortunately, but next time Rocket Event comes around, I'll be able to take that frustration off and get it through. I do go up to 100 energy here. I do end up going for an undercharge. If they end up having overheat, I'm going to be so pissed. But it's also fine at the end of the day. Actually, 2 Brutal Swings probably could KO me. 1 does not. I will say Galarian Weezing, I do think personally should have Brutal Swing and Play Rough just to have a little bit more coverage than normal. I have seen actually like 3 with overheat, so you really don't know what these people are going to be running out here. Unfortunately, I don't go for good timing because I just want to get the move off on the first one to get some damage onto the Runerigus. But that means I won't make it to the second move there. And now I've already expended a shield. I have to not shield this. This is probably a Shadow Ball because they have a ton of energy coming out of the Bastiodon farm down there. I end up waiting that. I don't wait a turn, but I make sure to see that a second Shadow Claw does come through just so I can get that damage off. They end up coming in with Clefable, and in my mind I was like, Galarian Weezing, because it's a fairy type, but obviously you should be throwing Leaf Blade into the Clefable here. And then there's no way for Clefable to do anything, resist everything it does there. Alright, I end up seeing if it has Powder Snow here. Really probably shouldn't even have to see that it has Powder Snow. Probably should be switching to my Steel types in the back, since I'm ABB Steel anyways, and I'm going to be super strong against that in 2 of my 3 matchups. Whereas if it does have Charm, it's just a neutral matchup for the lead. Even in that neutral matchup, I should be switching out in an ABA form. Now that we know it has Earthquake here, I'm going to come back in with the Tropius, be able to farm this all the way down. I definitely don't want them to be able to save this Swampert. It will take a long time for our Bastiodon to get through a Swampert, even at this HP. That it will be bad if they end up trying to save it in the end. We do have Leaf Blade here, so I'm going to throw the Leaf Blade into this just to try to reduce its HP, assuming that they have like Golurk in the back, something Bastiodon really doesn't want to see. They end up having Altaria, and that's just a GG. Basically, at this point, the only thing you have to do is figure out which one of these do you think does the most damage to Bastiodon, and I'm going to say it's going to be, I guess I end up just saying it's going to be the Alolan Ninetales. Over the Moonblast here. I don't know. It has Play Rough on it, but they could also bait with the Weather Ball Ice, and that wouldn't be great. But we're not really taking a lot of damage from Altaria here. I do end up getting the shield with the 1 Stone Edge, and now we almost have 100 energy where I'm going to basically go for 2 Stone Edges here. I'm still not low enough where I need to be shielding, and they do end up baiting anyways. And I don't know. I end up just getting lazy here on the charge attacks because I'm like, I don't know why this guy's staying in. I'm going to go for the Flamethrower. It's also super effective, so. Alright, Beedrill lead. Another weird one. Beedrill is interesting because it can have Drill Run, and it can have X Scissor, and it can have Sludge Wave, or Sludge Bomb, I think. So I end up going for the bait here just to try to get a shield, basically. But now I'm in a weird position where, like, Registeel is not going to be able to farm this down. But I probably have to take this move just to see if they do end up having Drill Run. And they do. And then they end up shielding, swapping into Whiscash here, which I just end up throwing at a weird time. And, yeah, I should have definitely thrown earlier. Obviously, I had energy there. I do try to go for as much energy as possible here on the Tropius. This one-shots, I believe. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, even better. I live a Scald here, but I'm afraid I'm going to take too much damage to where I'm assuming it's going to be like Swampert in the back, so I'm getting scared. Ends up being Sableye in the back, and now I'm so happy because I know that Bastiodon can get through both of these. And it's a Shadow one as well, so I've already done a ton of damage to it. It's letting me farm it down because it's basically thinking that these are the only charge moves that they can get off our opponent. So, yeah, I mean, they're just going to get farmed down on both sides. And they do have a shield, so I really don't want to be throwing moves unless I am at like 100 energy. Then it's fine, but Yeah, they're not going to get to another move here. They did throw into the Registeel, and that's going to be GG. I do think Shadow Sableye is pretty cool. I probably will use that at some point. Still pretty good, and I believe Power Gym got buffed. So, all right, you do have to worry about Sludge Bomb here on Venusaur. I did get, and they do end up coming in with a Ninetales here, and I don't switch into the Bastiodon, which I think is actually the wrong thing to have not done here. This is one of those teams where if you can get Bastiodon on a good pick, you should probably do that. The only thing is I am worried about something like a Fire type, which can be double effective against Registeel and Tropius. And while there's not too many Fire types that I've seen, there are some, and I do think Skeledirge is the best right now, but you saw that Typhlosion we saw earlier. With one of my other teams, I believe I saw a Alolan Marowak, a Shadow Alolan Marowak. So those are the only 3 fires I saw. Oh, no, we saw Salazzle, but I wouldn't think you're going to see too much of that. They end up actually switching back into the Whiscash, which means they're now going to be locked into this Tropius, which is great for me. I mean, yeah, obviously we can farm down and not really have to worry too much about this damage. And, yeah, it's obviously going to be good for us. I don't know, this switch in was kind of weird. Just basically take the loss. I do decide, I don't know if I'm going to need this Tropius in the back or not. So, oh wait, we did remember it was the Venusaur, right? I'm sure I remember that in the time. These battles were done last night, so I'm recording this video like in real time on Wednesday. It's Wednesday, yeah, it is Wednesday at 8 a.m. So 8:22 a.m. So I believe this will come out at 9 a.m. So we'll see. So this was 12 hours ago when I basically did these battles. 11 hours. Anyways, Venusaur are not really going to do too much against Bastiodon, just the pure bulk. There's the 10 games in a row. I was like, let me show these games real quick. Because I was like, okay, I'm probably going to go to bed. Then I was like, you know what, this team's too good. If I'm going to make a video of this team, let me just try to play out my last, I think I had one more set. Let me just play out my last set. We end up getting a Shadow Venusaur here that can be definitely scary. They end up coming Altaria, so they do double resist this. I am actually just going to come in with a Bastion here, but I'm going to get a little bit of energy before I go, because I don't have to worry too much about any of the actual attack, the fast attack doing a lot to Tropius, and they're not going to get to a move for a while anyways. So I could have done a lot more. I guess I could have done one more. But I do end up coming with a Bastion. I'm going to farm this all the way down, just have energy for the matchup, and then throw charge attacks into it. They do come back in with Swampert. Yeah. I definitely should be throwing Stone Edge. I don't know why I throw Flamethrower there, and then it looks like I'm about to go for Flamethrower again anyways. Again, I do have a lot of energy on Tropius. I do end up throwing this into the Swampert. Did they switch out into Swampert? Is that why I'm switching? Oh, they did actually switch out into Swampert. So I decide I need the energy here, and I'm just going to farm this down. And if they get to a move, I'll shield it and just have that. All right, Skeledirge. Again, this is the one I do think is the best. And I don't want to go into Bastiodon because Bastiodon's my best choice to go into the Skeledirge here. Again, it is a ghost type. You do have to remember that. It double resists Focus Blast, so you do want to go for the Zap Cannon here. Unfortunately, I lose a little bit of energy by getting to 100 there, which is fine. We do end up getting the shield at the end of the day. And the thing is, do I want to go shields down is the real question. And they actually let me get to my move first. They don't have to. They want to go up to full energy, I guess. And yeah, Skeledirge getting low here. I think about going in with Bastion here and trying to just take it out with a snipe. And they actually end up living. So they do have 100 energy. That is something to note. They end up coming with Lickitung. I was going to say Licky because that's the new version. But Lickitung is the old version, which I believe Lick was nerfed. So, and Body Slam also nerfed. But they're probably not going to go for Body Slam here against Bastion, as we do double resist that. They go for the Power Whip, which is neutral. They're actually go at perfect timings here. This is not CMP, I'm pretty sure. So the question is, are they going to end up catching on a Skeledirge or something like this? I don't know. But we do have a catch available for ourselves and Bastion, and we do have a shield as well, right? So if they do end up coming in with Skeledirge, I can go for a shield against a Shadow Ball maybe, Or I can just let it go through. Again, Tropius is super bulky. Maybe if they did have a fire move like Blast Burn, I would be shielding that against like yeah. They end up having a Dragonite here in the back, and we're actually going to do a ton of damage with this Aerial Ace. And Bastiodon can definitely take this out if they do end up throwing energy, which it looks like they're going to have to. Nope, they decide they're going to try to go for the farm down, but we get to the move. It is double resisted, but they're a Shadow Dragonite in Great League, so going to do a ton of damage there. Yeah, GG. I still have a shield is the thing, so they could go for a bait and then a hit, but it might not be enough anyways at that HP. All right, Umbreon. I already know what I'm going to do in this matchup. Both of my Mon in the back are very good against this, so I'm actually just going to take this move on Tropius, soak it up on the tanky Tropius, and then switch to Registeel, which is going to have the best matchups possibly against other things because it does have coverage. They end up having Charge-a-Bug, which is an interesting pick, but I just want to have a little bit of energy on Tropius. They end up banking a decent amount of energy on their Umbreon. We do have to note that they did go for Dark Pulse, so they're probably running like Dark Pulse Last Resort, if I was to guess. Most likely not running Dark Pulse Foul Play. It's kind of a weird move set and with no coverage. Both of our moves are actually neutral, or they're going to be doing the exact same amount of damage to the Charge Bug, which is resisted damage. So I end up going for Zap Cannon first, just because we can get an attack drop. But otherwise, if you're just going to try to do damage, Focus Blast is definitely the way to go. I think I end up shielding this just to win switch and have Bastiodon onto the Umbreon. Plus, if they do come back Umbreon, I will have this Focus Blast, which is definitely going to be super effective against it. They can actually go up to a lot of energy here if they want. Probably could have gone 2 more, I think. But this is going to KO us. But I'll probably come in with a Bastiodon, not have to worry about these charge moves. Technically, I'm not going to do a lot of damage to them either, but yeah, it's still a good matchup for Bastiodon. We save our energy on Tropius if we need it for the back. Bastiodon's so bulky that if there is something Bastiodon's good against in the back, I'll still be able to have a shield available for that, and then probably going to have a move available for that too. I imagine I'm going to go up to like 75 energy plus here. They end up having a Nidoqueen. This is not great for me, but I do have energy stored here on the Tropius, so I know I can get to the second Leaf Blade, even if I don't shield this, which I really don't want to. I do go for the Leaf Blade. I do decide I can go for good timing, even though my defense is dropped. Yeah, so we end up getting the shield there, and then this is almost in flamethrower range. I just have to make a call on whether or not I think this is going to be Earth Power, and I decide even if this is just going to be Poison Fang, I'm just going to shield this one up because I can definitely KO. They end up, I think I have to undercharge that. Oh no, I think I saw the amount of damage it did, and I knew I can go for a farm down here. But I did shield the right move, so that's good. The only thing is I do need to have energy before going into the Nidoqueen. And luckily, we already were in this Umbreon matchup before, so we know exactly how much damage it's going to do. And I can gauge whether or not I want to undercharge and decide to go for the full charge. And we're actually end up 1 away on the Nidoqueen to throw the Flamethrower. And it KOs the Nidoqueen. So, yeah, Nidoqueen, a hard one to face there. But yeah, that team actually did a lot. And again, just to tell you how good this team was, I thought about not showing it because I was like, man, I could really climb a lot. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Climbing at the end of the day for me doesn't matter. I'm going to hit Legend no matter what at the end of the season. So I decided I'm going to show you what I think is probably the best team. Well, the best team I found first day, which I played I think I might have played a 4th team, maybe 2 battles, and just got totally over it because I lost those 2 battles. So I think it was the 4th team. Usually I give a team a full set, but one of those teams I know I didn't. So anyways, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Again, this video probably going to be out 30 minutes from now if I can get it uploaded real fast. And hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Let me know what teams y'all are running. I could try it out if you do think it is actually really good. Or again, you can submit battles to, you can check the description below, see where you can submit the battles so that other people can see what team you're using and how you're using it. And then I can also critique it if you want. Hey, thank you for watching the video. And if you want to continue to support me, definitely click that subscribe button you'll see any content coming out. And if you want another video on this same league for some more tips and tricks to other teams, check that video out right there, and I'll see you in the next one.